America first. Turning Point USA. Oh boy.
Cenk, welcome.
Thank you for that warm welcome. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
So Cenk, the spirit of inviting you.
It is Cenk, I believe. I asked him like 20 times, I think, in real life. How do you actually pronounce it? Because everybody is like Cenk. It's Cenk. But we can call him Cenk. Maybe he lets the conservatives say it in a way that makes them happy.
So Cenk, the spirit of inviting you is that there's some confusion of these divides of right versus left, populist versus corporatist. I guess a good opening would be, as a man in the progressive movement, as one of the leaders of the progressive movement, what do you make of this last year, the state of the Democrat Party, and kind of American politics from the more progressive left perspective?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm proud to represent the left flank of the populist movement, and I think we need both flanks, so I'm happy to have this conversation. In terms of what has gone wrong in the Democratic Party, it's the same thing that went wrong in the Republican Party, but I do have to give you guys credit for a revolution well done. And what I mean by that is not a revolution against the Democratic Party or the left or the country, but a revolution against the establishment. So I knew you guys were for real in fighting against the establishment when I started going on right-wing shows and I would say something negative about Mitch McConnell. And when I did that in the past, what I would get back is, oh, no, Mitch McConnell's great. Pelosi's terrible, but Mitch McConnell's great.
Let's do that here. What do you guys think of Mitch McConnell?
All right. Yes, I love that. So look, for my left-wing friends that are watching out there, they just booed Mitch McConnell. That's a great thing, okay? And
just to be clear, the reason why they booed Mitch McConnell is because Mitch McConnell wouldn't go full fascist support of Trump. That's why they're booing McConnell, but okay.
Let's do one more. What do you guys think about Dick Cheney?
Wow.
My left-wing friends out there, we have been waiting for the right-wing populists to boo Mitch McConnell and Dick Cheney our whole lives. Take the win. Take the win. Now, what we need to do in the Democratic Party is we need to do likewise. We need to have a revolt against the Joe Bidens, the Kamala Harrises, and the Nancy Pelosi's. And the Hillary Clintons, and now all of a sudden the Dick Cheneys.
Are you really defending McConnell and Cheney? It's not about defending McConnell and Cheney. It's that if I had to choose between two dangerous medical treatments and I was leaning towards one versus the other, and some guy showed up who was telling me not to consider the other one because he's a Mormon or he's like opposed to blood transfusion or something, I don't know. It's the reasoning is important. These guys don't oppose. There is no principled reason why these guys oppose any of these people. That's what you have to keep in mind. Like, Donald Trump has already said he's going to continue to supply weapons to Ukraine, right? He said he's going to back Israel in whatever way they need possible, right? So all of these Republicans that were like, oh, anti-war, no wars, no. Wait, what happened to that? So if you might think that they're on your side, but they're not on your side. We're emoting something, right? It's not like a genuine opposition to war, because if Trump, like if we got 9/11 right now, bro, we would be like Iraq war on steroids. Holy, I don't know how many countries we'd go to war with. Jesus.
What are they doing on our side? Are you guys nuts? Right?
I have to interject. When all of a sudden Kamala Harris is doing the Liz Cheney thing, I said, does she want to lose? I mean,
what's amazing is I said the same thing. Look, Dick Cheney polls at 13%. What lunatic thought it was a good idea to wrap yourself around Dick Cheney? I mean,
like, and I might have missed it. With this, like, wrapped around Dick Cheney, how many appearances did Kamala even make with him? Was it more than one? Was it even one? Like, I feel like this is like a one-day thing. Was it any? They said 0? But were they ever even... Wait, not... Or yeah, wait, were they... The tour was with Liz... Wait, did Kamala Harris and Dick Cheney ever appear on stage together once ever? She appeared with Liz and then Dick endorsed her. She was on her. Okay. So, like, what is this wrapped around Dick Cheney thing?
Thought it was a good idea to wrap yourself around Dick Cheney. I mean, when we started the Young Turks 22 years ago, longest running show in internet history, first ever YouTube partner with original YouTube.
True, Goldie McGoldfish. True. That's what he should ask them. Yeah, you guys all hate these horrible people like McConnell and like Dick Cheney. True. And we all love like the populists, the people that represent people like AOC, right? He would never bring it up though. And you know what? Goldie McGoldfish, you're absolutely right, because that's intentional, because he knows who AOC is. Pretty sure the Justice Dems, she was one of the first candidates that his org, him and Kyle Kulinski, right, when they made this, that he backed. So he knows that she's irrelevant. He knows, obviously, right? And he's intentionally not bringing her up because he knows this audience would boo.
YouTubers are one of the driving forces was get Dick Cheney out of office, right? And now for Kamala Harris to come full circle and say, oh, I've got 90 corporate CEOs backing me, and I've got all these executives on my side, and I've got Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney on my side, it was so counterproductive. It's not what the left wing stands for. It's not what the Democratic Party should be about. So the problem is the establishment. They are controlled by the donor class, and mainstream media is their marketing arm.
Do you know what happened to the Young Turks? Why do they get so little views nowadays? They probably had a bit of a first mover advantage, and then I don't know how much their political views have evolved over time. But I also don't know if I would say they get little views. I think they still do okay. They're just not like the dominating force. I don't know if this includes shorts or not. If this doesn't include shorts, these are really good views. But I mean, like, these guys are old players in the field. I say that respectfully. To survive in any kind of online content creation stuff for a long period of time is impressive, I would say.
Do not do news. They do propaganda.
We ever get to talk with Cenk again, or is he avoiding you now? I think that probably for the next year or two, the debate space is going to be very sparse to non-existent because, conservatives have, at least for the short term, validated their info model. So it's probably going to be when midterms come, if they do poorly in midterms, which I think will happen. I'm doing that in a very TA transactional analysis kind of way, because usually the incumbent party loses seats. So if they do poorly in the midterms, then they might pivot back to, we should, maybe we should be more open to talking to other people again. But right now, probably not.
Class and mainstream media is their marketing arm. Not what the Democratic Party should be about. So the problem is the establishment. They are controlled by the donor class, and mainstream media is their marketing arm. They do not do news. They do
the donor class and the marketing arm. So could donor class, does Elon Musk count as part of the donor class? And does marketing count as one of the largest social media platforms for news like X? Or do you think the idea of the establishment holds any meaning at all? It seems like a catch-all term for any politician who isn't for exactly what the person saying it wants. They're just always easy to blame, like the bureaucracy.
Bro, it's amazing.
I'll start from the beginning.
One of the leaders of the progressive movement. What do you make of this last?
What?
Kill me. He's taking the mantle of the progressive leader, dude.
He is.
Dude.
I was only 3 minutes in. It gets worse. Who knows how bad it gets? Oh boy. This is what I mean. Media environment. Okay. When Democrats fail to pass a bill because 2 Democrats are against it, right? Manchin and Sinema, the Democrats blame the Democrats for it. We ignore the fact that, every single Republican voted against it, right? And then when the Republicans look at a shutdown, right?
It's the exact opposite.
Yeah, what the
Bro, he just said we need MAGA. He just said we need MAGA. We need it. We need it. No, we don't need MAGA. MAGA needs to end. It's time for the Jedi to end.
All right, coming back.
What has gone wrong in the Democratic Party? It's the same thing that went wrong in the Republican Party, but I do have to give you guys credit for a revolution well done.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Don't worry.
So, and what I mean by that is not a revolution against the Democratic Party or the left or the country, but a revolution against the establishment. So, I knew you guys were for real in fighting against the establishment when I started going on right-wing shows and I would say something negative about Mitch McConnell. And when I did that in the past, what I would get back is, oh, no, Mitch McConnell's great. Pelosi's terrible, but Mitch McConnell's great.
Let's do that here. What do you guys think of Mitch McConnell?
All right. Yes, I love that. So look, for my left-wing friends that are watching out there, they just booed Mitch McConnell. That's a great thing, okay? And let's do one more. What do you guys think about Dick Cheney? My left-wing friends out there, we have been waiting for the right-wing populists to boo Mitch McConnell and Dick Cheney our whole lives. Take the win. Take the win.
Somebody pointed out earlier, and I thought it was a really good point, is that he won't ask, like, now, how do you guys feel about AOC?
Yeah, dude, fucking ask it. They fucking hate them. And the worst part is, like, the reason they hate these guys, like Dick Cheney, and they hate fucking Mitch McConnell, is because they didn't
play ball with Trump. Yep, that's what I said.
Yeah, that's why they fucking hate him. But they have 1,000 neocons that are coming into his fucking cabinet. It's not a policy-based thing. It's all personality.
Yep.
Now, what we need to do in the Democratic Party is we need to do likewise. We need to have a revolt against the Joe Bidens, the Kamala Harrises, and the Nancy Pelosi's.
Okay, pause it right there. Pause it right fucking there. There is no thinking, sane person in this world who can say with a straight face that Cenk praising the revolution, he calls it, of MAGA, saying, congratulations, the revolution of MAGA, and then saying the left needs to do a revolution against Kamala, and look at those two things juxtaposed and say, actually, in retrospect, Cenk prefers Kamala to Trump. He's saying we need to revolt against Kamala. He prefers Trump. That means he's MAGA. He's a MAGA guy. He's on Turning Point USA, the Hitler Youth of the right-wing movement. Mm-hmm. You cannot tell me this guy is like left wing anymore. He's MAGA. It's full MAGA.
I wonder if we got 22 minutes left. I wonder if they'll get into a single actual policy for the entire thing here. We'll see. My predictions are just going to be like no war, which by the way doesn't even mean anything because they loved drone strikes under Trump. They loved, it doesn't matter. But
and the Hillary Clintons, and now all of a sudden the Dick Cheneys. What are they doing on our side? Are you guys nuts? Right?
I have to interject.
Also, this talking point, bro, I'm so embarrassed because even I don't read everything. I don't follow everything. Even I had to look this up earlier because my question was like, how many appearances did Kamala Harris even do with Dick Cheney? Do you know what the answer to that is?
With Dick Cheney, 0. He's in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I didn't even know. Oh, I didn't know if they were they doing speeches together? Did they have like a thing? Like, Jesus, yeah.
Imagine being such a slimy little rat that you're Cenk Uygur and you go on Turning Point USA and say, "F us, f the left, f everyone on the left, all of us. Pick me, and it's it's complete grift. It's a Dave Rubin. He's crossed the Dave Rubicon, and he should be ashamed of himself, but he's not.
Right?
I have to interject. When all of a sudden Kamala Harris is doing the Liz Cheney thing, I said, does she want to lose? I mean,
what's amazing is I said the same thing. Look, Dick Cheney polls at 13%. What lunatic thought it was a good idea to wrap yourself around Dick Cheney?
To wrap yourself around Dick Cheney? Like, what? But okay.
I mean, when we started the Young Turks 22 years ago, longest running show in internet history, first ever YouTube partner with original YouTubers, one of the driving forces was get Dick Cheney out of office, right? And now for Kamala Harris to come full circle and say, oh, I've got 90 corporate CEOs backing me, and I've got all these executives on my side.
Talk some shit about Elon Musk, motherfucker. Yep. Talk some shit about Elon Musk and all the billionaire crypto investors and the shady money who is in Trump's cabinet right now and actually has official power.
Yeah, and also because sometimes I got to do like a macro reset. We're talking past something that's already kind of wild, which is the fact that Donald Trump, forget the fact that he didn't even, publish his taxes, didn't divest from his businesses. So you have an actual billionaire who actually has like foreign interests, who actually has potentially huge, contrasting. There's a word I'm looking for. What am I thinking?
Conflict of interest.
Yeah, conflict of interest. But we're past that. We're not even, that's like not even on the tail end.
It is so disgusting. So these people are literally, and Cenk, it's the worst possible time. They're literally on record saying, we want to gut Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Listen to them talk. They listen to the presentation they're reporting about, like a presentation they just gave on Capitol Hill. They want to gut these programs.
Yeah.
And Elon Musk is on record saying, yeah, the CFPB, they're already instituting like changes to the NLRB to be anti-labor. They know that they're going to change the FTC head. They're going to fire Lena Khan.
How do you feel when you're an Anna Kasparian? You're like, Biden's one of the worst guys for labor unions. What I think the first president in U.S. history to join a picket line, and now you have was it Donald Trump or was it Elon who was saying that like, oh yeah, we need to do something about it was in reference even to like a particular labor union, but like yeah, like where it's just never like policy based. It's always vibes. Like
a week ago, they were excoriating Biden because they thought he was part of a conspiracy to scuttle his own nomination for the NLRB. Like they actually thought that Biden had put forward his own nominee, the nominee who was just, by the way, refreshing her term. She was already in office for 4 years, so Biden had already successfully put her in office in the NLRB, and they were just like renewing for the next like 2 years essentially to be the head of the NLRB. And Cenk is excoriating him for like doing this conspiracy to put up a fake candidate for the NLRB, all the while not realizing that the whole implication of what he's saying, right, is that a Trump-backed nominee for the NLRB would be worse for labor, right? So like, it doesn't make sense to be complaining about how the Democrats failed to put one of their nominees and they gave the Republicans control of the NLRB for 2 years if it wasn't the case that the Republicans and MAGA specifically, and Trump specifically, is way worse for labor. This motherfucker doesn't make any sense, and he's selling out in the worst way on the issues he says he cares the most about.
Yeah.
Cheney and Liz Cheney on my side was so counterproductive. It's not what the left wing stands for. It's not what the Democratic Party should be about. So the problem is the establishment. They are controlled by the donor class, and mainstream media is their marketing.
He says that with Elon Musk, the shadow president.
Yeah.
He says that with Elon Musk, the shadow president, scuttling a bill, a negotiation 2 days before the government shutdowns and just throwing everything into chaos. You want to talk about donor class? You want to talk about donor class? Say
like
one.
Literally donated. Like literally donated to the campaign.
What are you talking about? This whole world is upside down.
I know.
For Cenk Uygur, progressive leftism is bending the knee to MAGA Republicans, bending the knee to Trump. What a fucking chicken shit piece of shit.
If you wanted to get rid of a birthright thing, you know what? Honestly, you could probably make the strongest argument for getting rid of birthright stuff for post-Trump is birthright requirement for being the president.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because my understanding
we have Elon now.
Well, I wasn't going to say Elon. I was going to say Donald Trump. Like the point, my understanding is like the point for the birthright requirement is that you want to have somebody who's like loyal to your country, who well, Jesus Christ, like how loyal is a guy who stands to lose how much money, based on his business dealings with other countries while he's the president? Like if that's not a conflict of interest, why the would where you're born at be a conflict of interest?
Yeah, maybe Cenk should run for president.
They do propaganda.
Nodding along like a good little lemming for Charlie Kirk. Look at him. Because he's showing his
getting
belly.
his-
He's like, rub my belly, rub my belly.
Well, but it's also access too, right? Because now he's playing the exact opposite of the coin that I'm on, where obviously I have no access now.
Yes.
And now he's going to be I guarantee you, every single conservative outlet is barking up Anna and Cenk's trees right now, right? But right, you had Anna on Glenn Beck. Cenk is here now. You're going to see these guys like doing the full rotation.
Patrick Bet David. And they're going on there. They're not like contesting like you were or even Vosh. Remember when Vosh went on with Charlie Kirk and was like actually countering
100% he was. Yeah, he absolutely 100%. Was. Yeah.
I say the same thing about Emma Vigeland. I say the same thing about Sam Cedar. I say we don't agree on everything. Kyle Kalinske. These people aren't going to these platforms to grovel, but he's going on there and saying, like, he's showing his fucking belly. He's basically saying like, I'm a good little boy and you can pet me now. And essentially everyone is enjoying it because they enjoy watching their enemies grovel.
Yeah.
Like the MAGA people enjoy watching their enemies be defeated. And this is what it is. Like he's saying,
yeah, because the question is like, are you going to get anything from them? That's always the question, right? Like, are they going to say, well, you guys did good here. You guys did good here. You know what the only time they praise you is when they can use it to attack you. So they'll praise Bernie Sanders, but they'll only praise Bernie Sanders by saying, because the DNC stole the election from him in 2016, because the DNC rigged it against him in 2010. Yeah. So you don't even get anything in return for it, which is so cringe. Yeah. That hour-long thing with Glenn Beck with Anna, and I'm like, is she gonna say a single negative, a single criticism down from? Not a single
Glenn
one.
Beck, who by the way was
one of Trump's biggest haters.
Liars, one of the biggest haters initially, and one of the biggest propagandist shills. To say nothing about Tim Pool, a literal paid Russian op, whether he knew about it or not. Like, he was paid by Russia. Not a mention of that. Not a mention of the fact that this guy is conflicted as.
Yeah, it's wild.
And
remember, for these people, remember for Gomer, right? It's enough to show that a $10 million transaction from one business to another, from China to a business, and then a $5 million from one business to another, and then $100,000 from Hunter to some family members, and then a $50,000 withdrawal.
Gomer, not Gomer.
No, he's Gomer to me, okay, right? All of these things, that was enough to show how the Hunter Biden crime family was profiting. But Tim Pool, through one shell company, getting $5 million in 1 year.
Dude.
Oh, who knows? Yeah,
Dude.
Sorry.
And one more thing. What I want you guys to recognize is that mainstream media you think is against you. You think they're against the right wing. But they also hate Bernie Sanders. And they also hate me. And they also hate the populists on the left.
I'm sorry, I was late today. I was pre-watching all my content for today. But yeah.
Left. What mainstream media really loves is
the corporate donor. Is he going to say people like Elon Musk or the bro? Have you seen? Have you seen how many? Okay, first of all, okay, you're in New York. You're doing okay for yourself. Do you know what the difference is between a billion and a million?
Oh my God, bro!
Do you know the difference between a billion and a million?
Different.
It's
so
$1 billion, right?
Yeah.
It's $1 billion. The like, what is it in Trump's cabinet? It was like 9. I thought it was like 3, maybe. I didn't know Vivek Ramaswamy or whatever. I didn't know that guy was worth $1 billion. There's so many people in his cabinet. It's like, wait, where's the donor class, the billionaire class? Did you see that picture I tweeted out where they were like all 4 tech titans are donating like $1 million to Trump's inauguration ceremony? What the
By the way, and even just more traditional billionaires. How about the second? I think he's still the second richest person in the world. He goes to Mar-a-Lago. Jeff Bezos. Bezos goes to Mar-a-Lago, and he's meeting with like all the traditional quote unquote billionaires. That, Cenk is supposed to be in favor of the Amazon workers, right? All about the Amazon worker, all that stuff. He doesn't say a word about, hey, why is Trump meeting with Jeff Bezos? He's part of corporate America. He's part of the donor class. Mar-a-Lago right now could not be.
It's like a revolving door of the wealthiest men. I bet more net worth has walked in and out of Mar-a-Lago in the past month than has existed in terms of total like planetary wealth. If you would go back like 10 years ago and like add it all up, like the amount, it's just an insane amount of like insanely wealthy people that have been, oh my God.
It is grotesque that Cenk Uygur is here talking about the donor class as though the problem with the donor class is the Democratic Party as opposed to all the MAGA sycophants that he's slurping right now. It is insane. It is grotesque. It is an insult to the people he's supposed to be representing.
Well, but hold on. To be fair, you're not being fair. I'm not being fair. We've got 20 minutes left. Maybe he is going to bring all that up. Let's see, okay?
Sure, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
They also hate the populists on the left. What mainstream media really loves is the establishment and the elites. They're against all of us combined. And if we dare unite on issues...
Sorry, hold on real quick, because I've already done this loop, okay? Somebody said, why do you expect Cenk to hate on Musk and promote AOC? Obviously, they'll boo. His goal isn't to convince them to be libs at this event. His strategy will take time. He's building rapport first. The thing that started to make me see all of my Daily Wire collabs differently is when I realized, and there's probably, I think, a stream of me literally talking about this after like the realization had solidified more in my mind, was that I'm always the one that's reaching across to them. I don't know if there was ever a show where like, you know what, you guys do make good, maybe there is something over here. It was always me reaching across the aisle every single time. I don't think there was ever a conservative that spoke to me. It was like, yeah, maybe Republicans are wrong about this thing. Never. I don't think a single time.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah. And this is an important thing to realize too. They were building rapport with me, not my ideology and not the Democrats. It was just me personally. And the rapport was only like as strong as I was willing to stand out from some of the more outrageous positions that they labeled my party as having.
Even think about some of your more like Jesse Lee Peterson, right? Mm-hmm. Or some of these other collaborations that you have, or even say Fresh and Fit. Is Fresh and Fit, these people, are they ever co-opting any part of your ideology? Never.
Yeah.
Never. You just, it is a mutually beneficial relationship, or you have like good streams or whatever. It's not this back and forth of ideas ever.
Sure, yeah.
Combined. And if we dare unite on issues we agree on, they will be livid and it'll be a beautiful day in America.
Oh my God.
And that is correct. You were kicked off
the face of a conqueror. That is the face of a conqueror, a Roman conqueror.
Like he's saying unite. He's saying unite. What he means is surrender. That's what he means, is the left surrendering to the right. What are they uniting on?
Some of the cable news channels for having heterodox opinions on certain issues. So let's kind of look at the last couple of years.
Cable news channels had heterodox opinions on certain issues. I don't actually know this off the top of my head. Pisco, do you know what the most popular cable news TV station is? Do you know what
by a country mile, Fox News, and it's not even close.
News? Oh wait, really? Are you sure? Well, that's crazy. Wait, how does it make sense then when he's saying they had a heterodox uniting around certain things? Because did Fox News support Donald Trump, or was he part of the? Were they the mainstream?
They slurped him every second. They slurped him, and,
so weird.
And Fox News kills CNN in the ratings, and Fox News kills MSNBC in the ratings.
Crazy. Okay, that's insane. Okay.
We can go back to the Bernie Sanders thing. Explain to us.
Oh man, this isn't appropriate for now, because I do have to leave in an hour, unfortunately.
Yeah.
For later. Have you ever heard me give the take that I feel like companies shouldn't be allowed to buy other companies in the United States?
I've not heard that take, no.
I don't like horizontal or vertical acquisition. I don't like any companies buying it.
Like M&A.
No, expand your company or f you. But did you read the rationale that the Disney lawyers had for not fighting the case?
I almost understand it.
No. It's a good rationale, but it's an argument against mergers and acquisitions, where it seemed like one of the big like plays, or I'm sorry, one of the big things that was playing into their idea to not challenge that defamation lawsuit is, okay, well, we're fucking Disney. Do we really want to be hurting all of our theme parks and having this like drag out as like a defamation lawsuit against the president of the United States? Like, I don't want the owners of a media station factoring in the success of their theme parks when it comes to defending media speech. That was really bothersome to me, you know?
See, I was more swayed by the other one, which was that it could create awful precedent because our courts are so fucked right now.
Fuck that. No, but that can't be the case either, right? You understand, right? I don't want to go to court on this because
that's just a fear of mine. I'm telling you, I'm scared that this court would overturn New York Times v. Sullivan.
Sure. But I mean, like, I think it would almost be better because, like, think about what you're saying instead, right? Like, I don't want to let this guy kill me, so I'm just going to kill myself. Like, or is the idea that, because now is it anytime Trump sues somebody, he's like, well, fuck, we don't want to fuck with the Supreme Court precedent?
Have you heard the phrase bad facts make bad law? You've heard this.
No, but I can guess what it means is that if you've got not the best case for, and then you go from the Supreme Court, you run the risk of them making a broad ruling.
This is a case where they're like literally, he was legally found liable for rape when he literally wasn't in New York.
But I feel like this is
I know what you're saying.
I feel like it's bad facts. Sure, but I feel like it's a good test ground for actual malice. Or are we just going to have is it just going to be defamation like it's the normal thing? There's no more of that standard. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's...
That's why I'm scared that they would fucking overturn New York Times v. Sullivan, because that's the actual malice standard.
No, I know, but I mean, in your mind, because the question that we're supposed to ask, right, like philosophically, I guess, right, is when he said that, was he knowingly like trying to mislead the audience and like lie about it, or was he being so negligent and reckless? Like, that's a question that we're supposed to be asking when it comes to reporting on people in the media, right?
Yeah. 100%. There are two questions. One is it substantially true that he was found liable for rape? Mm-hmm. And that depends on whether a person like objectively hearing that would think of the colloquial definition of rape or the legal proceeding where they literally found him not liable for rape. And then the question of actual malice, which I agree, it's almost certainly not actual malice. And he was referring to the, colloquial definition. But do we want to give this Supreme Court the opportunity to overturn?
You're right.
Decision?
We should wait for 30 years until we have a liberal court again. I'm just kidding. But you understand. I understand. I do understand what you're saying, right? And I'm slightly sympathetic that maybe you want a stronger case going to the court. Yeah. But I mean, like, it's scary that, like, okay, well, does Donald Trump basically, because, like, you know how ridiculous it feels now being on Piers, where he's like, this is a massive loss for this $15 million suit. And it's like, bro, first of all, $15 million is a drop in the bucket for both players involved. So you know that this wasn't like a massive thing, right? Why would Trump settle something that was for $16 million, right? And two, the Dominion thing, obviously, in and of itself was like 40 times larger, literally.
So, just to be clear, the, like $15 million, the litigation expenses would have been more than that.
Sure. I think at the end, I think there was another $1 million tacked on you sued for legal fees, but yeah, I could have easily exceeded that. Not to mention the lost value and time and everything for both of us. But yeah. Okay. Sorry. But anyway, yeah.
To us, why is it that right-wing revolution was successful, and the Bernie Sanders with 2 attempts?
Wait, what did he say?
Revolution, Bernie Sanders thing. Explain to us why is it that right-wing revolution was successful?
No, I'm sorry. I have to stop. Yeah. The right-wing revolution was successful, and that's why we put all these neocons in our fucking cabinet. That's why we have Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. That's why we have like the #1 advocate for the Iraq War being nominated for Secretary of Defense. Mm-hmm. That's how you know the revolution won. That's why like all of the traditional Heritage Foundation, the fucking Fox News, all of the traditional Republican establishment institutions all back Trump. That's how you know the revolution succeeded. What revolution exactly? The revolution towards fascism, maybe, but not towards a difference in policy. They're just going to do tax cuts. They're going to do tax cuts and deregulation and then all the other fascist stuff. That to me is not a revolution. That's just what was traditional plus authoritarianism and fascism.
Yep.
That right-wing revolution was successful. And the Bernie Sanders with 2 attempts actually won the primary in 2016, and he had it stolen. Again, stolen election talk can be a little controversial.
Holy shit. It's all the talking points. Okay.
What are you talking about? He lost.
The super delegates, that's like their way of stealing. And Donna Brazil was the stolen shit, so yeah.
They stole it from Bernie Sanders in 2016. Why was that revolution not successful?
Because of the donor class.
Yeah, I think it was because Donald Trump was a celebrity and they didn't take him seriously. So they made the mistake of giving him mainstream media coverage. And so they thought, and if you remember, Bill Clinton had this brilliant idea, we'll encourage Donald Trump to run on the Republican side and he'll destroy the Republican Party. How'd that work out for you, Bill?
Why don't we give the Republicans any credit for the things they actually believe in? Number one, right? It's not like Donald Trump just had coverage and that's the only reason he won. Clearly, he was resonating with Republican voters. Number two, we always talk about like billionaires. Has anybody ever confronted Cenk and asked him, why didn't Steyer or Bloomberg win? Remember when Bloomberg was like, he was going to win 1,000% because he dumped like an ass ton of cash into states where they hadn't actually done any campaign
Biden had
yet?
no money. Biden had like no money.
And then Bloomberg's entire campaign collapsed. Yeah, like there were literally 2 billionaires in the primary. We heard about how this is over. It's like the billionaires are literally taking over, and only 1 billionaire actually won any of the elections of the past few years. It was fucking Donald Trump.
And so I remember saying at the time, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Because what I sensed was you need a non-politician to lead the revolt. So because all the politicians, and
that's why I picked Bernie Sanders, the non-politicians who, I'm sorry, wait, his only job has been being a politician. That's why I picked Bernie Sanders. These people are delusional. They as they talk, they debunk themselves.
Well, that's why so I guess he doesn't defend like AOC or Rashid Tlaib or any of the justice systems or anybody because they're all politicians now. What about Donald Trump? Isn't he a politician, or does he not count because he comes from outside of politics? Or it's so funny because like on the same token, like they'll make the same like genre of argument towards, when capitalists are like, well, CEOs are really important. CEOs get paid, executives get paid, managers get paid because they do a particular type of job. And, their counter is always like, oh, bullshit. They don't do fuck all. They do nothing. And then it's like, hey, well, politicians get paid because they do a certain type of job and they get elected to do a certain type of job. Not everybody can just go in and figure out how to do legislation and all the wheeling dealing necessary to like whip up votes and everything. But like having an outsider for some reason is supposed to be a good thing here, even though capitalists would never defend it on the other end, although there are none of those left in the Republican Party. But politicians, like now we look at like Donald Trump, who was a failed politician, and that's like a plus to him. Like he was an outsider. He came in, he did nothing legislatively. His administration, at least on every like metric that you could measure it, besides like memes on Twitter, it was kind of a failure. He didn't really get much done. I don't know, but it's epic, I guess.
And I want to give one shout out to Bernie because I voted for Bernie in primaries, and I think that he better not vote for RFK. And I think he's said some cringe things, but he released a statement like yesterday saying, we're not going to let an oligarch run this country, and Elon Musk is fucking cringe, and this is what oligarchy looks like. Meanwhile, Cenk, supposedly a big fan of Bernie Sanders, supposedly, promoting that style of politics, is slurping Elon Musk. So notice that distinction between a real populist and someone who just slurps billionaires, like Cenk Uygur.
Why? Like, what is Elon Musk? He has nothing, right? He doesn't even have a promised official position in government, right? This is like going to be like some meme house made in the office of the White House. Like, it's not even like, why does he have anything to do? And
he snaps his fingers, and all of a sudden, the Cancer Research Fund gets yoinked out of the bill.
It's so funny that like Republicans are so mad about unelected bureaucrats, but an unelected, like, he's not even a bureaucrat. He's just like an outsider influencer. Like,
dude.
On the Democratic side about 2028. And the only people they mention are politicians. And my answer to that is hell no, okay? Because the politicians are used to the corruption. They grew up in the corruption. They like the corruption. They got their power through the corruption. So I don't want that. I don't need that. And so when Trump came on, they gave him coverage. And here's when look, some people think that things changed after the election. No, I've been saying this from day one.
Oh,
and
changed.
So back in 2016, actually 2015, after I think it was the second debate, when Trump was on stage and he said, I gave all these guys money and they did exactly what I wanted. At that point, everyone on earth, certainly in establishment and mainstream media, says he has no chance of winning, none. I went on the Young Turks and I said, he's going to win the Republican primary, okay? Because people hate corruption. And they know it in their bones.
I mean, he also said, I think he also said both times that Bernie was going to win too. But I mean, if you make enough predictions, some of them are bound to be correct.
True.
But okay.
Fucking true. And just to be clear, Trump is so fucking corrupt, bro. You called him a fascist. Called him a fascist. He is all these dark MAGA billionaires that are supporting him and he's openly, brazenly taking their money in exchange for differences in policy. I think the TikTok person gave him some money, and all of a sudden he changed his stance on whether TikTok should be banned in the country. It is an open, like, bribery scheme, and no one is batting an eye.
Okay. Now, we will disagree on, is Trump really not corrupt? Is Trump really going to do the things that he promised? Is he really a populist?
Right. And now he's just going to brush those aside.
Wait. No, but this is what he should be saying if you're a real motherfucker. If you were a real motherfucker, and this is what I believe Destiny would do if he were here. This is what I believe Kyle Kalinske would do if he were there. This is what I believe Sam Cedar would do if he were here. He would look at the crowd in the eye and say, Donald Trump is a corrupt piece of shit. Because that's the truth. And I believe, Destiny, if you were in that audience, next to Charlie Kirk, you would say there is no politician more corrupt than Donald Trump. I believe you would say that. But he doesn't have, he says, like, everybody just...
Yeah, because you build a bridge, and then when you're in their perspective, then you're like, yeah, there's a lot of, if you want to do the both sides thing, which you would do in this audience, yeah, there's a lot of corruption on the Democratic side, and then you guys have liked your guy, but Donald Trump is pretty corrupt as well, right? Like, wouldn't you say that there are issues with this? It'd be a gentler way if I'm.
He has to do this roundabout way. We may disagree on whether he's a real populist, but time will tell.
I don't even think he's going to do that though, but we'll see. It sounds like he's about to hand wave literally every single thing Trump has said or done, and then just move back to the agreements. Yeah.
Disagree on, is Trump really not corrupt? Is Trump really going to do the things that he promised? Is he really a populist? I would love to prove me wrong. I would love that.
I would love to prove me wrong.
Like, he knew in advance that Kamala was going to be horrible, but he's inviting Trump, who's already had a disastrous fucking term already, to prove him wrong a second time. And I'm sure Cenk, because I think almost every single, even progressive said it. I think even Emma and Sam Cedar said it, that Biden exceeded basically every person's expectations. I think I might have even heard Hassan Piker say that. Like, I think everybody agrees that Biden dramatically exceeded expectations, but it's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. The Democrats can never, ever, ever. We didn't bring back Jesus Christ. We didn't get rid of all the homelessness in a non-lethal manner. We didn't solve all the world. If you don't, it's like.
Remember when where was this energy, by the way, of reaching across the aisle when Biden was literally running on that? Biden ran on, I want to be a president for all Americans. Let's do bipartisan legislation. He got it fucking done.
Yeah, and instead he just spammed that. And he spammed that one picture over and over again with the red fucking background. That's all you saw for 4 fucking years was the red pit with the red background. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but guys, no, that's an establishment figure reaching out to another establishment figure. That's the wrong kind of bipartisanship. I'll also say that Destiny's right that Hassan did say on Pod Save America, he actually looked John Lovett in the face and said that Biden did exceed expectations. Now, I'm just like dropping in on this. I have not seen like the previous like 20 or 30 minutes, like
6.5 minutes, maybe.
Or 6. Oh yeah, you've been on it for a while though. Has it just been both sides as
horrible.
Or
No.
jerking
What?
off
Both
MAGA?
sides?
No,
Both sides? It's been one sidesism.
He's slurping MAGA, bro. He's please don't hate me to this crowd, and he's like, oh, it's the worst thing I've ever seen of his.
Okay, all right, I'm listening.
Okay.
Trump got money out of politics. One thing we're known for is credit where credit is due. Okay, I would give him all the credit in the world. We're not there yet. We're not close to there yet. So when we get into the issues, hey, how about, and remember, guys, you also have donors. Beware of the donors.
God.
Everybody say his name.
They're running
say
the show.
Name. Say his name. Elon Musk. Say his
won't say
name.
it.
Why won't he say his name? You guys have, don't you guys have some wealthy people? What, the top 3 richest people in America have been in Mar-a-Lago. I'm sorry. I think I misspoke. The top 3 wealthiest people in the world have been in Mar-a-Lago in the past month. Say their names.
Say their names.
Forget that and don't let your guard down.
Don't let them already infiltrated your party. Oh, sorry. Don't let your guard down.
Okay? But so on the Democratic side,
okay, back to the Democrats.
We have got to elect a populist. If we don't, we're going to make the same mistake we made when they anointed Hillary Clinton, when they anointed Joe Biden, and when they anointed Kamala Harris.
You know that Joe Biden won his election, right? Why would you even point that out as an example? Like, what? Okay.
I don't know anymore. I actually don't fucking know anymore what he believes about the 2020 election.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Who knows? Yeah, true. Maybe, yeah.
Think about the logic of what he's saying to this crowd. He's saying, the Democrats are going to make a mistake if they run an establishment candidate because we won't be able to beat you guys. Like, it doesn't even make sense in presenting to this crowd. This crowd would vote for the successor to Trump. They're going to vote for J.D. Vance. They're never going to vote for a Democrat. And Charlie Kirk's entire job is to elect Republicans. And so him just saying it would be such a big mistake to nominate someone who has no electoral chance, they would love for them to keep it. Charlie Kirk should say, keep doing what you're doing, keep running candidates that can't win. That would make him happy. So it doesn't even make sense in the context of what he's doing to say that like Democrats should run candidates that are more like
Can you
Trump.
imagine how confusing you would be? Like, imagine you're 11 years old and you guys are going over old speeches in like a history class. You're in like, like 6th grade. And you're like, okay, so we were looking at this speech in history class, social studies. Cenk said the Democrats made a big mistake electing Biden. Or anointing Biden. Was that like a transcription error? Because I don't understand, because I thought that you told us, teacher, that when we were studying this, that Biden got more votes than any president in all of U.S. history, including when Trump won next time. So what did Cenk mean when he said that? Or maybe by then, maybe it'll be officially rewritten that election was rigged, so we would just know.
Wait. He says that the 2020 primary was rigged against Bernie, I think.
Of course.
I think he actually believes that.
Yes, he does. Yeah, I already said that. Yeah, 2016, 20. The only time they'll ever, yeah.
To my Democratic friends, how many times are you going to lose before you realize that mainstream media and the establishment are lying to you?
Yeah, can you stop right there too? Like, not to drag this out, but like, okay, so we won the 2018 midterms, we won the 2020 presidential elections, we won the 2021 Senate runoff elections where we flipped 2 Republican seats in Georgia. We won the 2022 midterms. We won the 2023 Oscar
hold on,
elections.
just real quick. The 2022 midterms, that's rough. You lose on your incumbent midterms, and
it's supposed to be a
it
red
was
wave.
all of the COVID stuff and the polling and the expectations were that we would lose, right? And those people were all backed by Donald Trump, who would win in 2024. So that was a well fought. Yeah. So, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I mean, to be clear, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, hey, listen, we lost 2024. We need to engage in introspection. We need to have some sort of like campaign autopsy. That's what responsible, political parties do. But to write the obituary of the Democratic Party or to pretend that we actually don't win about as often as we lose, actually more often than not, quite frankly, that's just revisionist history. It's bullshit. And he's really hyping Trump up unnecessarily, that he's some sort of fucking juggernaut that can't be stopped and that the MAGA movement can't be stopped. And it's not true. Democrats win more often against MAGA than we lose.
Yeah.
Look at Charlie Kirk right now. He has the body like positioning right now of a conqueror. He's looking upon this like wounded gazelle in front of him.
Is that energy forefront in the Democrat Party right now? And I'm not saying this facetiously. Read us into what the power brokers of the Democrat Party are saying? Are they saying we need to run more to the middle?
Clue what they're saying. He's not friends with any of these people. He has no insight into this world. He literally has no friends. How can you ask him what the insiders are saying? He has no clue.
Embrace more populism. We're hearing some of the names, but what is the vibe of the people that do this for a living?
Yeah, so I can tell you definitively that the Democratic leadership and the Democratic establishment will never voluntarily go in a new direction. They will never voluntarily accept populism. They are built on donor money. They are of the donors, by the donors, for the donors. So what I need left-wing voters to understand...
Except when they're putting in an NLRB that is going against what Amazon wants, like you said Biden did. You said the NLRB made a new rule that would consider the Amazon quote-unquote independent contractors, which are just like a charade, to be considered actual employees, such that they could, like, you know, have a union and have all the rights under the labor laws of the United States, except for the FTC, which is breaking up monopolies under Lena Khan and going after anti-competitive behavior, except the Democrats who are protecting the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau against attacks from Republicans, only in that, you know, huge area of concern for you, which is like, I don't know, anti-competitive, monopolies, fucking labor, all of the issues that, according to you, are really, really important enough for you to get in a tizzy whenever Biden's nominees get intentionally scuttled by Biden himself. On that, they're going against the donors in a significant way. And so how can you possibly say on these issues of massive concern where Biden is being populist, where Biden is being pro-worker, that he's only in the pocket of the donors? That is complete bullshit.
Yep, and look at how the perspective and look at what's changed in terms of what's not being said, right? Remember before, the genocide in Gaza was like the most important thing.
Yeah.
It was the defining issue. How much are we going to hear about about the criticism of people like Cenk for Trump on Gaza, right?
Disgusting. To me,
right?
it indicates they don't really care about it. I mean, that's what.
Of course, they
so
never
bad.
cared about it. They never ever cared about it. They never care about it. Okay. Yeah, and then there was one other thing too, but yeah,
is that they're never going to give you what you want incrementally. Martin Luther King talked about the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Oh, if we just go a little further with Joe Biden, he'll give us another crumble and another tiny increment. No, they're going to just pick a new and improved
Trump is going to bleed
robot.
us fucking dry. Trump is going to stop us from having Social Security. He's going to cut our entitlements that we pay into. Trump is going to gut the FTC. Trump is going to end the CFPB. Forget about incremental steps forward. How about massive steps back on every level in terms of economic populism that you say that you support, in terms of corruption and fascism and democracy? How can you be worried about the little steps forward and not the fucking huge jump to the days of
Pisco.
King?
like he's speaking like Trump has even made promises to do any of the things he's talking about, right?
Well, wait a minute, Stephen Pisco, guys, come on. He just said that Steve Bannon recently said that they should increase corporate taxes, and you guys, you're not taking that into consideration. Just because Trump slashed corporate taxes the last time and promised to do so.
Bannon is a marginal figure at this point. Bannon is no one.
Yeah. So Steve Bannon matters less than Donald Trump? Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, it's fucking stupid. It's so insane. I'm
so funny that you libtards said
yeah.
Bannon was running the show before, and now when it's convenient, you're pretending that Bannon doesn't matter. Very convenient. Okay, Pisco.
Yeah, I mean, he was only fired like one day into the administration.
Gavin Newsom, and they're going to come out with a new script. Buttigieg Gavin Newsom, and another tiny increment. No, they're going to just pick a new and improved corporate robot like Pete Buttigieg or Gavin Newsom.
And guess what? If they did,
Buttigieg
I would
under the table too. Jesus.
And if they did,
they hate him. They hate his guts.
Yeah, I know they have him.
If the Democrats did put up Pete Buttigieg or Gavin Newsom, I would fucking walk through nails to go vote for them because I'm a fucking patriot and I don't want to see this country go into fucking authoritarianism under MAGA because I'm not a fucking shill, sellout, MAGA loser, MAGA leftist like you, Cenk.
Out with a new script, and they're going to say, I am now a populist, and they will wear flannel shirts and they'll go to barbecues.
Wait, I'm sorry, is he describing Donald Trump right now? Or are we supposed to, because that's Jesus.
And they'll pretend to eat ribs, and then they'll sneak out and go to French Laundry.
Like, imagine him saying, right, Joe Biden, who for however many years was literally like the poorest person in fucking Congress, okay? Like, that this is the guy who's the fake, you know, down to earth person. But Elon Musk, who fucking spams Twitter with his cringe fucking videos of playing Diablo 4 and then getting banned for scripting. And he probably is another person. Like, these people aren't pretending. Like, seriously? My God.
He named his son like a robot name.
Yeah, actually, an actual robot name. Yeah, what the fuck? True.
Well, Cenk actually praised. What's interesting is like he's insulting the Democratic Party for things that he thinks might happen in the future about how they'll adopt a populist affectation or the common man affectation. But he praised Donald Trump repeatedly during this last campaign for like riding in a garbage truck and working a shift at McDonald's.
True.
Oh, right. Yeah. He said it's brilliant politics.
This is a brilliant thing.
Also,
yeah, it's brilliant.
The fake
genius.
shift. It was a fake shift at McDonald's, to be clear. All the customers were staged. Right. That came out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, like, Cenk was like, you can find the videos. Like, he was like, anyone who says that this is just like, you know, cynical bullshit, you know, blah, blah, blah. They just don't understand. This is brilliant. This is brilliant messaging. This is a brilliant move by Donald Trump. And it just goes to show that he understands politics in ways that the Democrats simply don't. And then he's talking about how it would be fucked up and stupid of Democrats to do something similar in a hypothetical campaign in the future, which hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, but it
Holy
works.
shit.
Yeah.
I just forgot something. Do you remember when for VP, Cenk Uygur endorsed Josh Shapiro instead of
Walls?
Walls.
Yeah, instead of Tim Walz. So when you had the opportunity, Cenk, to support what most people would consider the more populist candidate, that is Tim Walz, over Josh Shapiro. And listen, I think Josh Shapiro would have been base too. I think that Walz was a good pick too. I don't think that was the reason that they lost. But when you had the literal opportunity to do a costless decision to pick the more populist candidate, you pick Shapiro, and Shapiro is considered by most to be like the more establishment candidate than Walz.
Right, but he thought. What's interesting is, I mean, it's a great point. He thought that Shapiro was number one, populist enough, or at least not totally not totally establishment. He like appeals to like populist things in Shapiro's past, but he said that Shapiro was also probably the safer choice. That Shapiro would have helped shore up, an electoral college victory. So that's actually a great point, which is that when it's convenient for Cenk, he's willing to, lean into the establishment or a more establishment figure if he thinks that it increases the chance of winning an election. But then he shits on, David Plouffe or Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or whatever for doing something similar. Like trying to pin him down.
This is astrology. This is astrology. You're wasting time because you guys you're reading what Cenk is doing is he's doing the astrology predictions, and you're like, well, how is it consistent here that he said Sagittarius are all independent, but on Thursday he said that a Sagittarius was actually incredibly codependent? It's because it's bullshit, right? This is all bullshit. Somebody said, Destiny, how does this compare with your strategy used when you were approaching the red pillars? I mean, I was verbal about this when I was on stream, and you can see it when you go and watch my shows. My goal is to step into their frame of reference when I was doing this so that I won't fight on every single point, but I will choose some things to stake out strong ground on, and I will try to fight on some points. And I'll try to at least provide the other perspective. Yeah, that was the whole goal. But maybe we've still got, we're going through this. Maybe Cenk will fight on other points. We'll see.
Right. So don't believe the corporate robots. Remember how many times they lied to you. We need to do a populist revolt and pick up.
Like, don't believe the corporate robots? So you know that when you say that, you're saying ignore the entire Republican Party. How do you say don't believe the corporate robots when the entire Trump cabinet and Trump and Elon are...
Is a corporate robot.
Okay, yeah.
Populist left-winger, so we could have a real contest in this country. The establishment Democrats are never going to win. We need to go populist, and the way to do that is not by negotiating with them, it's by defeating them in a primary.
Is the Democrat grassroots, are they invigorated towards that end? Because it seemed as if they weren't obviously thrilled about Biden or Kamala Harris, but you could say...
Biden got the most votes ever.
Say whatever you want about Bernie Sanders. I have massive worldview disagreements. He had a legitimate grassroots movement behind him of small dollar donors, of people that were working, of activists. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like that has disappeared a little bit in recent.
Notice again how when I'm bringing this up. So he very quickly got over this, right? Because Charlie's playing the game. He brings up Biden, very quick to signal to the audience, I don't agree with Biden or not Biden, I'm sorry. He brings up Bernie. But very quick to signal, I don't agree with Bernie on fucking anything. We have massive worldview differences. After Cenk has been saying like, oh, we've got all these similarities. We're so similar. The popular, we're so similar. And then he very quickly said, by the way, don't agree with fucking Bernie on fucking anything. But isn't it true that fuck Democrats, right? That's the only reason Bernie will ever come up for these guys. It's never to have any shared agreements. What were the biggest things? 3 biggest things that Bernie was known for was what? Like 15 an hour minimum wage, single payer healthcare, Green New Deal. How do you think that everybody here feels about those 3 policies, right? They would have a fucking revolt.
They would have
the other frustrating thing is like Kamala Harris broke records for small dollar donations, like the number of small dollar donors and like the composition of like her fundraising, like the amount contributed by small dollar donors, it blew Trump out of the water. And so it's like I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Like Charlie Kirk has seemed to imply like, you know, that the Democrats are not funded by grassroots donors. It's just not true. Certainly more than the Republican Party. No. And I wonder if Cenk's going to correct him.
Recent years, or at least has gone to sleep. Am I correct in that? And what would it take to awaken that sleeping?
You're correct.
So there's a couple of different branches within.
Well, no, it's not that they've gone to sleep. It's that the corporate donor class is trying to shut them down.
Democratic Party and the left, but the two most.
There's the Max left.
The what?
There's the identitarian left. There's the
Max.
So there's a couple of different branches within the Democratic Party and the left, but the two most important ones are the populist progressive left. That's Bernie Sanders. And we can debate about progressive issues and policies on another day, right?
Yes, because it's always important to leave all the disagreements, all the stuff that you actually care about, by the way, all the most important things. But okay.
But then there's the establishment wing. So the populist wing is already there. That base that was there in 2016 and 2020 still exists. And remember, guys, and I say this to you, and I say it to the left wing. Bernie won the first 3 states in 2020. He was this close to winning until Obama and Clyburn called in all the candidates.
He's right.
And said, you all have to bow to Joe Biden.
What's that clip? Do you remember that clip from, it's Kobe. Rest in peace, Kobe. Kobe. Oh, Kobe. What happened? But do you remember when Kobe's like, what's there to celebrate about? Job finished, job not finished. The fucking primary isn't winning the first 3 most white states, which are most beneficial to Bernie. That's not the contest.
Mainstream media then said Joe Biden is the greatest, and they started talking about how Bernie Sanders, the most successful Jewish.
Oh, they're going to say how he's bringing up that one. Is it Scarborough? How they compared Bernie Sanders to Hitler.
Candidate in American history.
Identity politics, Jewish.
Followers who wore brown shirts. And fascists and Nazis. Where have you heard that before?
Yeah, so you called Trump a fucking fascist. You said it.
You don't even say that. Fucking Vance said that Trump could be America's next Hitler. JD Vance. So, yeah.
Outsider, all of a sudden mainstream media says fascist, even if it's a Jewish candidate, right? So they use the same tricks. And you guys have been canceled. I've been canceled.
The same tricks. You literally called Trump a fascist, and you're calling it, quote, a trick, as though it was wrong when it was applied to Trump, even though you were part of that course and you were doing it correctly, because Trump is a fucking fascist. And
he bickered with Anna on air.
Yes, you had this whole debate with Anna, where Anna's like, I don't even know what a fascist is these days. And then she had
to be a fascist if you don't succeed.
By the way, is there a bigger snowflake? I know that the MAGA people are probably bigger snowflakes than all left, except for Anna Kasparian. Anna Kasparian cannot take a single word of criticism. And I remember very strongly how much she was mauled in on Twitter after Cenk destroyed her on the term fascism and whether it applied to Trump or not. And now he's pretending like it's a cheap trick that they applied to Bernie just like we did to Trump.
They do the same thing to both of us over and over again. So the left-wing populists are ready, but we do need some more votes from people who used to be in the establishment Democratic camp. And why were they in that camp? Because they love corruption, they love war, they love change. No, guys. They were in that camp because mainstream media lied to them.
Yep, by the donor class and the mainstream media
told them, Bernie can't win. Right. Bernie was up by 12 points on election day in 2016. They said, he's radical. And they called you guys radical and said you couldn't win. They call us radical and say we can't win. But they're wrong. They're lying. So what I need Democrats to understand is stop believing in Morning Joe and The View and all the garbage on TV.
Yeah, but start believing in Tim Pool and Steven Crowder and Charlie Kirk and
David.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point about the media ecosystem. You guys are, without a doubt, the most popular progressive, over-the-top, non-mainstream media.
He gets a pat on the head.
Yeah,
he gets a pat on the head from Charlie.
Community. Is that fair to say?
Oh, wait. Oh, my God. Okay, and you're going to see Charlie. It sounds like he's doing... So earlier somebody said this is the whole point, is to build rapport, right? So Charlie is doing the thing now. I mean, we'll see if he continues. He's not building rapport with the left. He's not building rapport with all the progressives. He's building rapport with Cenk, just his network, just his channel.
But how gracious of Charlie to do this, right?
Yeah.
How sweet of him.
Are,
I mean,
without a doubt,
Yep.
the most popular, progressive, over-the-top, non-mainstream media sanctioned community. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, 27 million subscribers, 30 billion
Under
views.
my Peter Thiel.
No, I'm not saying that sarcastically. I don't know of anyone that comes close. However, do you think there's a robust alternative media ecosystem on the left that is comparable to what's built on the right? I could say confidently what we have on the right is pretty impressive. We have from podcasting to videos. We don't rely on cable television. Who here listens?
We don't rely on cable television. Only Republicans can do this. Only Republicans can do this. Only Republicans can do this. It's like a high school boxing match where one guy trains for 1 hour a week and the other dude trains for 30 hours a week. And the guy that trains for 1 hour a week wins the boxing match. And he says the whole time it's because he worked harder, except the guy that trained for 40 hours a week or whatever is 18 because he's in high school. And the other guy's 45 years old. Okay. It's like the most ridiculous fucking, like, how can you say that, like, yeah, you know, we control all these other areas except, you know, for cable, obviously we have literally the largest, maybe the largest cable news media channel, maybe in the world. Well, maybe China or India or whatever, like something, you know, but like.
Certainly in America.
Well, I'm pretty sure Fox News is larger than any individual news channel in all of Europe, right? But I'm just saying because of the populations between and each other. Yeah.
It's the podcast or social media for all your news. Raise your hand. I mean, every single hand goes up. So do you think the left has some work to do in developing over-the-top media to be able to bypass the main network?
Yeah, so we have TYT as a giant network, but we have a lot of great progressive and populist shows that are not part of TYT. That's in the left-wing ecosystem. So I don't think that that's the issue. I don't think that there isn't enough shows. I think that there's a couple others. One, on the right, you guys do a great job of coalescing.
Good point. That's true. They do a good job at coalescing.
Do a couple of things well. You work together well, and you're more welcoming, if I'm being honest.
Kill.
We're glad
Kamala is welcoming to. Well, I know how he would spin this, but she's welcoming to everyone from Dick Cheney to AOC to anyone who's just like in favor of democracy and being based. And if you disagree, like Chip Roy is a perfect example. He's like, I'm a principled conservative. I don't want to raise the debt ceiling. And Trump's already like, we got to primary this motherfucker. Even though he's a big fucking MAGA Republican. It's insane.
These guys, how do they feel about the Senate races in Georgia? Were they, maybe I'm projecting Hassan's view and the other crazy leftists, but were these guys happy when Warnock and Ossoff won? Or how do these guys feel about, like, obviously, like, Sinema and
Manchin?
Yeah, I wanted to say Hansen. Yeah, Manchin. But this is what I mean. This is what I'm saying. You guys have seen it by this point, right? It's just they're playing in a totally different game. It's college versus NFL. It's 3 downs versus 4. Like, they play a totally different game. They got a totally different set of standards.
And you're more welcoming, if I'm being honest.
We're glad Cenk's here, right, everybody?
Oh my God. Pat my belly, rub my belly.
A lot of people on the left know this as well. If you agree with MAGA 5%, the answer you get is welcome, right?
No.
Come join us, right?
No, this is not 5%, Cenk. This is you showing your hand because you've been conquered. You've been conquered as a man, and you've been conquered as a political entity. And so they know that you're showing your ass and you're showing your belly. And so they're toying with you. That's why they're being so generous to you.
Well, if you agree with MAGA 5%, the answer you get is welcome, right? Come join us, right? On the left, if you disagree 5%, they go, get out of here. You're a right winger. You're
like, that's what you're doing. Does he not see that? That
you're a fascist, right? But if you push enough people out and you guys welcome enough people in, eventually you win the popular vote. That's what I warned them about, and that's what happened, right? So, look, I propose simple rules. The 3 rules of the internet. Rule number 1, when we disagree, we fight. There's nothing wrong with that.
Except when it's destiny, except when it's someone who actually disagrees on the left.
Yeah, wait, why does he say this? He shouldn't be allowed to say, you literally dodge. A literal dodger.
Me.
No, rule number 2 is afterwards we must have a beer together. Okay?
Unless you're an airline worker.
And rule number 3 is, for God's sake, when we agree, let's unite.
Like, I know that this would probably like kill him if he, like, this would shock his soul. But does Cenk realize or not realize that he has more in common policy-wise with a corporate Democrat than he ever would with a MAGA Republican? Like, like 9-1, like run down the policies. And you're going to have more of an alignment with the most shill establishment Democrat, corporate donor-backed, whatever the fuck, right? Than you ever
with
would.
Joe Manchin.
Yeah.
Crystal Ball, when Crystal Ball and Cenk had their debate a couple of weeks ago, she even made that point. She said, Cenk, you and I on policy agree probably on 9 out of 10 issues. And she says, the thing is, though, I have much more in common, and by extension, so do you, with the most lib establishment Democrat than anybody in the Republican Party. And it's so he can't escape from that. So it makes what he's doing here just seem like a total fucking grift because he's contradicting himself. Like, when he says, that MAGA embraces anybody who agrees with them 5% of the time. Well, it depends. Like, Charlie's doing it now because he sees that there's a tactical advantage there. But Pisco made some really good points about how if you disagree with Trump at all, if you deviate from Trump at all or MAGA, like look at what Kyle Rittenhouse,
look at what Rittenhouse, look at Joe Rogan. Yeah, like these guys got literally cult bullied. They were sending cult tweets like, "Hey man, I know that you might be like misguided. Like message me. Like let's have a chat." Like the dude was announcing he was like addicted to fucking heroin. Like holy shit. Like they're going to stage an intervention for these guys.
And the minute they got in line, they're like, "Great, happy to have you back."
Yeah. Oh my god.
Cat Turd was like ripping up his posters of Kyle Rittenhouse and saying he's a monster.
Do you remember? Wait, weren't there people that were like setting fire to their Nikes or whatever over what was it? Nike not supporting, was it Ye or Donald Trump or something? Remember when guys were old white dudes were setting their shoes on fire? Oh my god.
So for the left, we have too much division. We almost never unify. I don't mean with the right. I mean internally. The left loves to attack one another. I love you guys on the left. I love you. But every once in a while, when we get a yes, when we agree, can we please unite? And,
what's the yes? What's the yes?
He'll never say it because these are fake. Yes. These are fake conversations. None of this is real.
This is all performative.
It's all a meme. What are these guys? Charlie Kirk is the head of Turning Point USA, which is one of the larger fundraising, whatever membership
fascist
bullshit. Yeah, and then Cenk has been in politics for 30 years or whatever. Would you know that if you listen to this? It just sounds like a random fucking old dude who supported Bernie, and it sounds like a random fucking Trump sycophant. Like where are my qualified political pundits with like decades of experience in politicking? Like, what, can we have like anything of substance being like anything of substance being discussed here?
Is for the old. I'm being honest, and on average, not everyone, of course.
Wait, can you pause? I think that if he said we need to reduce the military budget, I think Charlie Kirk would step in and be like,
"Hold on there, buddy.
Hold on. I'm not sure we agree on that.
What about Muslims?"
Older Democratic voters, please turn off your television sets. They're lying to you. They're tricking you. They're trying to get you to vote for corruption. They're trying to get you to vote for policies you don't even want. So if we can do those...
Which ones? He won't say, ever.
Name one.
Two things, then we'll be in great shape.
So name one policy that the corporate Dems want you to support that you shouldn't be. Like, name one.
I'm not sure how you'll feel about this, but...
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
There is not a consensus. There is a belief with some people like Seth Moulton and others that some of the embrace of what we would call wokeism or whatever.
Oh, yes. Pause. So now he's going to get his pound of flesh. So Charlie has let him
to get them to disavow
from
all
the
the
well.
Trans stuff.
Yes.
I need you to tell me how evil those trans people are before we move on. Yeah. How evil and horrible.
Some of the embrace of what we would call wokeism or whatever was a reason why Democrats had a less than desirable election outcome. Do you subscribe to that belief?
Absolutely.
How do you interpret that when some people say we need to kind of shed away some of the more new elements of the cultural implications of politics outside of economics, like the Seth Moulton belief that where he says the trans stuff hurt us?
Yeah, so look, guys, on that stuff, I've been having these debates internally with the left wing. And I explained yesterday, actually, on the Young Turks. Look, everybody's positions are in a different part of the left-right spectrum and on different
Traitor.
policies.
Pause it.
So
This is what you say. My LGBTQ brothers and sisters and they themsters. I support you. We may not agree on fucking everything in sports or whatever, but I support you. You are valid. You are all people who deserve to be supported and have equal rights. He would never fucking say it in front of this crowd because he has no balls. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, he's waffling everywhere. Let's see. Or not waffling, but he's just like making it so vague so there's nothing even disagreeable.
Yeah, he's hedging.
I explained yesterday, actually, on the Young Turks. Look, everybody's positions are in a different part of the left-right spectrum and on different policies. So I can name you policies where you say, oh, that's pretty moderate, right? I can name you policies that, I mean, you're not sure it is left or right wing, but that is definitely popular.
Name one.
Right? But some of my policies might be called extreme left in America. So, for example, I'm massively in favor of gun control.
Wow.
Whoa, you're skipping.
You told them not to boo, but I knew they'd boo on that one.
They paused to their respect. You were asking for it, Cenk.
Yeah, I did ask for it. So my point to my left-wing allies is, am I going to emphasize and insist and demand on my gun control policies when we're in the middle of it?
Notice how he picks an issue that's like not like politically that relevant right now. I know that some conservatives might rear, oh no, it is. No, but it's really not. Like, notice how he could have said something related to immigration or the border, right? Or he could have said something about, you know, like divesting business or something that is a little bit more relevant or pressing or something right now. But it wasn't. He went to like the classic.
But it was clear what Charlie was asking for. Charlie was referencing Seth Moulton, and he's talking about the wokeism. He's talking about transgenderism. Yeah, and rather than he there's a little like filibuster for a second. He's like, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? Rather than say, Charlie, just because we don't agree on like trans people in women's sports doesn't mean I don't support trans people's right to have equal rights and protections in this country. You know, I support he didn't do that.
Yeah.
He went to an issue
because he's a fucking
coward.
Yeah.
Size and insist and demand on my gun control policies when we're in the middle of a national election. No, because I know those are not winning issues
if he doesn't.
at this point. I've got more work to do to convince the American people before we get there. So if on trans issues or any other, or crime issues, etc., if you really believe in the most far left position, as I do on gun control, for example, that's okay. But you've got to know what to emphasize and what not to emphasize. And so if you say, no, I'm going to die on every extreme hill, well, you will. Electorally, politically, you will die on that hill. And then you lose on all of your issues. Because it's sometimes a binary game. Certainly elections are. So you got to know what to convince the American people of and what to hold your ground on. And the number one thing to hold your ground on is constitutional rights. So I'm going to do some...
Except for the Second Amendment.
Like the Second Amendment.
You set yourself up for that one, motherfucker. He looks like an idiot. Look, he's a clown for Charlie. Yeah. He's a clown for Charlie.
It's constitutional rights. So I'm going to do some...
Like the Second Amendment.
Oh, my God.
The standing ovation to clown him, too, yeah.
Imagine being so proud. You won't defend trans people?
So, no, I know.
Voice cracking.
Guys,
look at that little touch. Look at that little touch.
No, I saw it. Yeah, very cute.
That's an alpha touch.
Very friendly.
An alpha touch. That's saying I'm your superior. And
I'm under control. I'm in control right now.
I'm in total control. Yeah.
Look at that. We totally disagree on that issue, but we just...
You were asking for that one. I'm sorry.
No problem.
He should have responded.
No problem.
Or like the 14th Amendment.
Everything's okay.
No, but that was an important moment because we totally disagree on that issue.
But we can still agree that we should still support the Republicans wholeheartedly, even though we totally disagree and he'll never come to me on any issue whatsoever.
But we just shook hands anyway. And you know what we'll do afterwards? We'll have a beer.
And then we'll continue to vote for and support the not Democratic Party.
Yeah. So,
you know what a good question would be here if this was a real conversation? What issues are worth dying on the Hill for? Cenk? Yeah. It's definitely not Gaza, right? Because there's no fucking way that you would support Donald Trump or not support literally anybody besides Donald Trump on that, right? What issues are worth fighting for?
You know what it is when you disagree on something and then you fight about it and then you have a beer afterwards? That's called America. So
then have us on your show.
agreement, and this. I don't know which way this is going to go. Okay, so when we talk about trans issues in terms of sports, I know we have massive disagreements. Okay? And so on one of those issues, professional sports, I agree with you guys. On high school sports, I don't. We'll go get into a bloody battle on that. Okay, but I want to ask you guys something. Do you believe that trans Americans should have the same constitutional rights as all Americans to employment, health care, and housing? Constitutional rights.
They don't even agree on that.
Do you want me to translate? Well, there is no constitutional right to housing.
Okay, so I hear you.
Do you see? That's what I'm saying, right? Like, he's done so much work to reach and reach and reach and reach and reach. And where's the good faith? Remember, Charlie's in the power position, okay? Yeah. Right? Cenk is here to bend the knee. Cenk cannot make any demands. Cenk cannot extract any concessions. Cenk will get nothing.
What I got out of that, guys...
I'm just trying to be the interpreter.
Yeah. No, there was a lot of applause and there was some consternation, right? I'll take it. It's a start. So, guys, when they're voting for about what's constitutional, Second Amendment, housing, etc. But just let's treat everyone as Americans. And I say that to the right, and I say it to the left.
For sure. So we're going to go a little overtime because I know the boss here.
Sure. Yeah, like, I mean, like, he doesn't even.
For sure, yeah, whatever.
There's no payoff for this. Like, yeah, shut the fuck up, and then let's move on to that. Like,
I want to ask about free speech, and then I want to try to say, can we get one or two action items that this community can get behind in this new Congress and this presidency that are populist that maybe we can push for and advocate for? I want to try to maybe see if we could brainstorm that together. Number one, first on free speech. Do you think that the left, and you are an exception, is ready to embrace a robust, spirited culture of freedom of speech?
Pause.
Yes, actually, wait a minute, guys. I'm going to ruin it for you. I pre-watched this. This is where Cenk finds his courage. He picks up the microphone. He says, you know what we can get behind in this Congress and this president is to pass the Press Act. It's to call on President Trump to stop suing media outlets that he doesn't like, to stop threatening to go after NBC and MSNBC and other media outlets he doesn't like in an unprecedented way. Thank God President Biden never threatened to go after Fox.
And the Des Moines Register.
Yeah, the Des Moines Register, all these things. I know, because we're all free speech, enthusiasts here, if not absolutists. We can all unite and demand that Donald Trump stop threatening the press.
This is where I've been studying like a lot of kind of like to prepare myself for the midterms, like more debate tactics to win debates. And Tim Pool is just such a great way to respond to things when you talk about like potentially fascist or authoritarian things the government does. And it was when Luke was asking, like, don't you think it's like, didn't you see that Donald Trump is suing, media outlets? So it's not illegal. So
no,
it's not illegal. So what a great response.
He's a private citizen. He's a private citizen.
So
Stephen, he has the right to do it. Yeah.
He said he wanted to shut them down. He hasn't done it yet, has he? So like, fuck me. Okay.
Or Cenk will say, you know what? We can call as an action item. We can unite and call on Donald Trump to withdraw Kash Patel's nomination to be FBI director, given all the unhinged things that Patel has said about punishing people who have exercised their free speech and free expression. That's what we can do as an action item. I'm sure he'll say that.
Yeah. And just before we resume, even the framing here is putting Cenk in the cuck seat, because he's like, isn't it about time for the left to embrace free speech? Because we on the right have been so pro free speech.
Is ready to embrace a robust, spirited culture of freedom of speech where disagreement is welcome, where you're able to have these kind of dialogues and forums. And I think it's a tragedy. It seems to be that more the right is willing to do it. Prove me wrong if that really is the case.
Yeah, I'm trying to remind the left of who we are, because the left is supposed to be for freedom of speech. The left needs freedom. If you're gay or you're trans or you're Muslim or you're someone that was otherized at some point in your life, you need freedom more than anyone else does. You need equality more than anyone else does. You need justice more than anyone else does. So if you want those things, you've got to reciprocate. So you've got to not, I want you guys to not assume that we hate you or that we're evil or that we're bad. But if we're going to do that, the left wing has to do the same. They have to assume that you're not evil.
No.
Did he just say we as in him and
because he's the voice
Charlie?
of all the progressives. No, he meant we as in like all the progressives. Yeah.
Okay. Don't hate them, and you're not all of these things. So I know from time to time we'll still get back into the battles and we'll still call each other names, right? But overall, if we can begin to not hate each other, and so when we disagree, let's try two more real quick here. When we disagree, can we agree to not hate each other?
Wow.
No,
brave.
no, actually,
That's so brave.
I want to oppose my enemy. MAGA is my enemy, and I'm going to be a patriot. I'm going to defend this country from the thieves and the traitors who want to destroy it. So no, Cenk, that's not what I'm going to do.
All right, excellent. And when we have these fights, to Charlie's point, can we, for the first time in my lifetime, begin to actually listen to one another? And Charlie, I'll give you credit on this, because one of the turning points, if you will,
good one, dude.
In how I started to do the right
puns
wing
in front of Charlie Kirk. He's making puns in front of Charlie Kirk. He bent the knee, bro.
Yeah.
Look at this
fucking
fucking loser.
At the RNC, and we started talking about banning private equity from buying residential real estate,
which I totally agree with. That the young people in this audience should not have to compete against BlackRock to be able to own a home. Do you guys agree?
So brave.
So
the funny thing.
Hey, that's one policy.
Should just say, Cenk should just say, wait a second, Charlie. I thought we said that owning a house wasn't a constitutional right. Why would you care if BlackRock is buying the homes versus an American citizen? So
we've got a populist plank on tyt.com that's one of the 6 pillars, right? And all my life I go on Republican shows, I go on right-wing shows. When I say something against the bankers, they're like, no, the bankers are great, the bankers are great. Oh, I was so frustrated. And now all of a sudden we got the right-wing populists saying, let's ban the bankers from buying our homes so they don't drive up the prices. Yes, the left, take yes.
What does banker mean in this? Just anybody that works with money? Is that like a financial institution or like a Vanguard?
BlackRock a bank?
Yeah, like what does banker mean here? Are we just, do we mean Jews or I don't know what the
is a bank allowed to repossess a home if because obviously like a mortgage is a lien on a home and they have the right to repossess it. So are we like not going to let banks?
No, I mean he's talking about like BlackRock and shit, but there's like private equity. Are these
but he said
bankers?
Banks.
Yeah, I know.
Wait,
I don't know what he means.
Is BlackRock a bank?
No, but I think he's just calling them bankers. It's just a weird. I don't know. It's a weird term. Whatever.
No, he just said that we're going to ban banks.
He's talking about
owning
BlackRock.
homes.
That's what he's talking about. Yeah.
Up the prices.
What did he say? Bank.
Yes. The left, take yes for an answer. Take yes for an answer. And look, what I said online on X was, at least what we got out of this election is, we're no longer in an establishment prison. Now we're in the populist woods, right? And if you say, yeah, but we're going to fight in the populist woods, yes. But at least we're all human out here.
We're going to get murdered in the populist woods. We're going to get raped in the populist woods. And it's because of people like you, Cenk. Honestly, Jesus. I don't know what the fuck we have to do to get it across people like Cenk that these people are not your friends. Yeah. But MAGA is the enemy.
Yep.
We're all human out here. We defeated the corporate robots. And we've got more.
Defeated the corporate robots as all the wealthiest people in the world align around Donald Trump.
More fights with the corporate robots to come. But out here in the woods.
God. Oh, never mind.
When I see you guys, I don't hate you anymore, right? I see my fellow Americans. And so in these populist woods, we'll sometimes have skirmishes, sometimes we'll have battles. But the main thing I'm trying to drive with the 6 points of the populist plank, higher wages for Americans, time off for moms after they have a baby, anti-corruption,
totally
anti-war. The reason
audit the Pentagon.
Oh yes. So the reason I picked those is not because they're the most left-wing positions. Because
audit the Pentagon. Notice how because on the conservative side, because Donald Trump wants to fund more war and more shit. What was Donald Trump saying? NATO commitments need to go up to 5%. That's like a 50% increase, I think, in our military budget, because I think we're at like 3.5%. So we would have to increase it by a full like 1.5 points. But so now the conservative messaging on that has changed to just, well, audit the Pentagon so that we can see where all of our extra money is going towards.
Yeah. Trump wanted to get rid of the debt ceiling to decrease military spending.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes. So the reason I picked those is not because they're the most left-wing positions, because those are the positions we all agree on, right? And God help the establishment if we actually work together to do those things. And finally, to the heart of your question, Charlie,
Nancy Pelosi is in the hospital getting hip replacement surgery, the last vestige of whatever establishment that Joe Biden is one trip in the beach away from calling it quits. And he's still going after them like they're a viable political force in the Republican Party.
I will say, though, and my feelings on this are stronger than my knowledge, so maybe I'm missing something, but I love Nancy Pelosi, okay? I would give my life for Nancy Pelosi.
Not after what you did to AOC.
Yeah, that's just what I was just going to say. I will say, though, a rare fuck Nancy. I don't know why you wouldn't support, unless there's stuff that I'm just not aware of, I don't know about behind the scenes, who seems like an exceptionally well-suited person to be potential future leader of the Democratic Party. And exceptionally well. She's young, she had the left, she's active, she's intelligent, she's mastered social media, she thrives in alternative space. This is like your dream person, and is not like abandoning the House for greater, like I don't know if you'd go from the House to the governor, I want to be president, or whatever, like wants to like further, like God. Oh, I don't understand that.
And I just want to say, I'm sorry.
Who is the person?
Connolly. And listen, he's done some good things, but I just want to say, I'm sorry to get the vibes down. Have you guys ever lived with someone who've had cancer before?
Yeah.
Or like you see them when they're fighting cancer. Physically change, and I've said this before, where like walking down the driveway as just like the daily form of exercise becomes like an insurmountable task, and their entire existence becomes about avoiding pain. Fighting cancer is no fucking joke, and this guy's 74 years old. It's not. I'm not trying to say that he's a bad person or anything like that.
Wait a second. Wait. Does he have cancer too?
Connolly has esophageal cancer.
Oh yeah, Jerry Connolly. Yeah, he's 74 years old and he has throat cancer. Yeah.
It's not funny. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing. I'm sorry. Okay.
But like, why? Why are we doing this?
Seniority. That's it. I mean, seniority and
what do the Spanish have to do with this?
See what you did.
Senor.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. 1 minute left.
And reportedly, there's still a grudge between AOC and Pelosi because I think when AOC first got into Congress, she did a sit-in in Pelosi's office or something like that. But that was like 6 years ago. So sad.
Cut the Pentagon, make sure the generals cannot work for the military-industrial complex afterwards.
Oh, if any of you guys played Metal Gear Solid 3?
No.
I hate you. Fuck. This is actually, Pelosi's actually...
My brother did.
Pelosi's a true patriot, actually. And this was her last patriotic mission where everybody was going to hate her, and she knows it, and AOC knows it. But what Pelosi's doing is she knows that the next year or two are going to be insanely fucking unstable, and she doesn't want to risk throwing AOC into a position that might condemn her political future. So she's choosing a guy who's going to die in a few years fucking anyway, and then AOC's going to be after. Okay.
And free Edward Snowden.
No,
I agree.
Fuck no.
So
someone check those fucking invoices.
Yeah.
Let's see if they're not from Edward Gregorian.
Beautiful that we have populist agreement on the right and the left on those issues. So I'm asking you guys, let's make those a reality.
Fucking A also, yeah, fuck. It's so funny because I hated AOC so much 6 years ago, and I think she might be my favorite politician now. Can I also give that a huge shout out because motherfucking AOC, okay? When we talk about like, did you support the candidate, and you have to, go through all their videos, and like, oh, the genocide, blah, blah. Motherfucking AOC, this chick is doing fucking Instagram live stories, okay? Like talking about how important it is for like, no matter what you hear, no matter what's going on, like the division of the parties, like, we got to vote for Biden. She was out there full force supporting Biden. It was unquestionable. You didn't have to even think for a second, like if she was supporting, fuck, yeah.
And so was Ilhan Omar and other members of the squad, like not all of them, but some, and that's the thing, like despite, stark principled disagreements on foreign policy. It wasn't like just like, narcissism of small differences. There were major disagreements.
Like, send Biden to the Hague, but also don't let him not be the candidate.
Yeah, but I mean, they never said that, but my point is that despite all the incentive in the world like to virtue signal. They didn't. Ron Klain, President Biden's former chief of staff, said that the Progressive Caucus, like AOC and Pramila Jayapal and Bernie Sanders, they were closer allies to Biden than Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, that the progressives had Biden's back more often than the moderates.
Issues. So I'm asking you guys, let's make those a reality, because right now, a lot of my friends on the left don't believe you. They think, they can't possibly be telling the truth.
Just real quick, I don't know why Cenk is saying he's acting like Trump has promised to do all these progressive things, and he's just saying he's going to follow through on it. When Trump has promised the exact, what are you talking about?
Right? No way they're going to cut the Pentagon. No way they're going to have a.
He just said NATO spending to 5%. Where is Donald Trump? He's always talked about rebuilding the military and having a stronger. Where is his talk of cutting military spend? Has Trump ever said? Has he said that in the last 4 years? We need to cut the military spend. Has Trump ever said that?
Of interest rule for the generals. No way they're going to do any of this, right? Prove them wrong. Prove them that you are actual populists, that you do mean it, and that we can work together to get those things done.
This is like Cenk is thinking, like, this is my huge applause moment where they're all going to fucking come out in my favor, and they're like, there's like 3 people clapping.
Populists, that you prove them wrong. Prove them that you are actual populists, that you do mean it, and that we can work together to get those things done.
Cenk, thank you so much. Guys, that was great. Thank you.
Jesus. I need to real quick. 1 sec.
That was sad.
Suspected United Health.
What is there to
Wait,
say?
I mean, you guys
really?
can talk. I'm just about to.
I know.
I'm marinating in it. I'm marinating in it.
I'm sitting in it, bro. This is wild, dude. I've never seen such a.
I saw a thing on the Young Turks the other day, Pisco, where he said he was going to be speaking at America Fest, and he said, "For those of you who doubt me, those of you who think that I'm turning to the right, just you watch this. You watch me at America Fest, and then you tell me. You tell me if I'm turning to the right." Yeah,
bro. It is unconscionable. How do they? I think that their viewership is tanking. I mean, there must be the only reason. But they're not going to get viewers from this.
I mean, honestly, to me, as bad as this was, the tweet about Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon said that we should raise corporate taxes, and hanging his hopes on that. It was just so like, bro, what the fuck? Like, to me, that tweet was dumber than actually anything he said here. And it's like, Trump leads a corporate tax cut party. He cut corporate taxes. He's promised to cut corporate taxes again, even after he won the election. Why? Why do you ignore all of that, all of it, and just hang your fucking hopes on what Steve Bannon has to say? Yeah, I don't understand. He gives a level of good faith and benefit of the doubt to the MAGA Republican Party that he simply doesn't with Democrats, and it's indefensible. And I'm hoping he'll have a conversation with Destiny, but I think he indicated recently that he wouldn't.
No way, no how. Not he had on his one of his contributors or one of his like employees who
Jordan Yule
disagreed with him. It was the most pathetic discussion.
Well, but hang on. I'm not going to rewrite history. Cenk has been historically, I mean, maybe it's changed in the past like couple of weeks, but historically speaking, like even during the election, Cenk has been willing to have really conversations with anybody. I met him at the DNC. He didn't know who the hell I was. And I said, hey, we've got this thing set up, just right down the hall here on the corner. Would you sit down for us with an interview? He's like, yeah, just let me wash my hands. Like he's always just been that guy. And he even sat down with Crystal Ball, and she kicked his ass.
She kicked his ass, but she was very nice. But they need to go up against people who are like, hey, Cenk, you're a traitor, which is kind of where I'm at and where Steven's at.
It's kind of where you're at. It's kind of where you're at.
You never, ever confront people with genuine pushback. It's only people that are going to push back on things that don't matter that much. So like, oh, you're a Democrat and you want to debate my new positions? It's going to be debating about like, how much should we actually support trans athletes or something like that. It's there. Like, I would be shocked. And I hope I'm wrong, actually. I'll make a strong statement here, and I hope I'm wrong, and I should be wrong on this, but I would be shocked if before January 20th, if Cenk or Anna have an actual debate about the money in Trump's cabinet or about Elon Musk. I would be surprised.
Anna definitely won't. I don't think Anna will. I'm just surprised that I was surprised that Cenk ran his mouth about you the other day on the Young Turks, where he was like, I've kicked this guy's ass so many times. I don't know what the value would be to have another conversation with him. And it's like you're going on this whole right wing tour predicated on this idea that you'll talk to anybody.
Oh yeah, with his 3 rules.
Right. But not you that you can't get a beer
because
with
you
Destiny.
can't, because there's no way. Because remember, the goal is Israel does this thing. The U.S. does strategic ambiguity. You don't want to have a conversation of substance about Elon Musk because it would spoil your position on the right.
Will you condemn him?
Yeah.
Will you condemn Elon
Musk? It would spoil your position on the right, and there's no way you could make it congruent with your views on the left. So you just have to avoid it, right? You have to maintain that ambiguity around those issues. You can only talk about things that aren't that important. Yeah.
Like I would ask questions like, who do you think is worse for American democracy, Elon Musk or Nancy Pelosi? Who's a bigger threat to, progressive policies, Elon Musk or Joe Biden? All these questions, he cannot answer Elon Musk because it's a grift or because he's trying to angle for some position or angle for an audience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't he covered Musk's intervention in the government shutdown, and even his pushback there was kind of tepid. He was like, say what?
Probably so tepid.
Yeah, it was like he was like, I don't know if he just doesn't know what he's doing or if he's just trying to troll. He's so charitable even with Elon Musk. I'm like, Elon Musk, the relationship between Musk and MAGA is not only a nexus of corruption, it's the very embodiment of the thing, right before our very eyes, and then dialed up to 11 of the thing that you constantly complain about in the Democratic Party. And again, I'm not going to say that, there isn't big money in the Democratic Party, and I'm not saying that there's not corruption in the Democratic Party, but Kamala Harris had more than twice the amount of small dollar donors than Trump. There is no Elon Musk equivalent in the Democratic Party. And in even what Musk did with his government shutdown thing, that's unprecedented. We have never seen anything like this. You have Mike Johnson, the highest ranking elected Republican at the moment, till Trump takes office, saying that, I just got off the phone with President Trump and Elon Musk. And it's like, Elon Musk holds no position. It's not even the chief of staff or, the vice president.
But hey, it's no different than Giuliani before or any of the other crazy, weird Trump orbiters that were making calls and doing, and I mean, technically, even Kushner just had it was whatever was a role that was just added to the White House,
senior
right?
Advisor.
It was like a bullshit ass role, and that wasn't a senior advisor. He was running Middle Eastern diplomacy for the fucking United States of America. Yeah, why wasn't he in the Department of State? What the fuck? Yeah,
it's just it's so sad. Have you? Because I don't know how you guys correspond at all. If it's just somebody his booker reaches out to you or whatever, but has there been any sort of direct engagement since your last conversation with him, behind the scenes, Stephen?
With who?
With Cenk.
Oh no. But oh well.
Dude, I don't know. I gotta go.
It's wild. But who knows? We got a fun 4 years ahead of us. We have to be more positive. Also, we need to find things to be positive about. Okay.
I'm trying to think what you can possibly cling to with that. I mean,
there are real patriots. That's what I think too. And the patriots are on this call, and some other influencers, and some really, really good people out there who believe in the Constitution, believe in our republic, and are going to defend it. And that's my hope. Because I see them, I get messages from them, and they're all like, "It's based what you guys are doing. I understand what you're like." So I believe they're out there. I truly do. They're not in MAGA. It's not MAGA. It's not right wing populists. It's actual patriots.
Pisco, how'd you feel about Democrats not folding on the debt ceiling issue?
I thought those base as fuck. 100%. Yeah. No, we can do debt ceiling reform in 5 years. Okay. That's when we can do debt ceiling reform. And this is another area where Cenk is completely at sea, right? So why would you do what Trump is asking for? Because you have to ask yourself this basic question. Whenever the worst people in the world are doing something, ask yourself, cui bono, who benefits? This is a kind of tactic that doesn't always lead you in the correct
Isn't that
conclusion.
the Littlefinger monologue in season 7 or something like that?
Sometimes it leads you into
a little game.
Sometimes it leads you into Bush did 9/11, but you should always ask who benefits. And so if we get rid of the debt ceiling now under the Joe Biden presidency, you're giving a shit ton of political cover for Donald Trump to have his agenda in terms of massive spending. If they want to raise it under him. Do it under his administration so they don't have a constant talking point, which is, hey, we're only doing this because Joe Biden said it was okay back in your. So you're giving up that playing field. You're removing leverage that, look at what happened in the recent discussion. There are some Republicans who are not going to vote for a debt ceiling increase for nothing, right? And the Democrats are going to be the votes that Johnson needs because the margin is very narrow. Why would you give away leverage to get concessions from Trump unless you want to just give away all of your power at the moment? Yeah. And then finally, why are you trying to make Trump's life easier?
And there shouldn't be a single word said from the Democrats about the debt ceiling. They should just go onto YouTube and they should just get a recording of every single thing every Republican has ever said about raising the debt ceiling under Obama, under Biden, or whatever else, and just play those recordings back over and over again. Or you can say, we will raise the debt ceiling, but it has to come with Donald Trump going on stage, bowing his head and saying, I lied. I actually can't balance the budget. I do need to raise the debt ceiling because I'm incapable of managing the U.S. budget. And that was a lie the entire time. I'm so sorry.
And AOC walks behind him, ringing a bell, saying "shame, shame," that sort of thing. Yeah.
Then we can do it with no policy. Yeah.
No, we managed to avoid it for now. I think it has to be renegotiated in June. So we'll see.
And we'll negotiate it then, and he'll have to pay a price for Democratic votes. And that's the way it works. We don't get gifts for free here. All right. And we have a uniquely threatening presidency of Donald Trump. It's going to be worse this time around. And so, no, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, because the debt ceiling in principle over the long run is a bad idea, which I agree with. I think the debt ceiling should, it's fucking stupid. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. But I'm not going to get rid of it now under Trump's presidency because it fucks with Trump.
Especially not under a guy who literally ran on austerity. Okay, I'm sorry. Wait, why do we need to get rid of the debt ceiling when we were promised $2 trillion of budget cuts? I'm sorry. Are you telling me that Elon Musk is overpromising and underdelivering? No way, not that guy. They're business owners, right? These guys are all billionaires. So fucking balance something.
Have you been surprised, Stephen, about how influential Musk has been so far just in the weeks since the election? I mean, Trump's not been inaugurated yet. And I know I don't want to misrepresent your views, but if I remember correctly, you were agnostic on Citizens United and big money in politics, that sort of thing. Where do you feel about Musk and his influence, the amount of money?
I think the influence has been huge, but I think Citizens United, the issue is that, and actually I know this from my personal life, money doesn't get you anything. What you want is influence, and you can't always buy influence, or rather you can buy influence, but it doesn't always come with money. Sometimes it comes with things like social capital. So Musk's biggest contribution to Donald Trump wasn't just money, it was controlling X. And I mean, he bought it, right, in order to do it, sure. So if you want to look at that as a monetary thing, sure. But just throwing money at ads or throwing money at things.
Contribution.
Basically, yeah. But I don't even like to look at it as in kind because it's not, it's the social capital. It's the cultural control. It's these types of things. It's not just a money thing because, I mean, you look at the spending from both campaigns and you don't count the acquisition of X as an expenditure. And yeah, it didn't seem to help Kamala. But yeah, no. I mean, he's been active. We'll see what it looks like during the actual administration. I don't know how the fuck you ever are making deals. How goofy do you feel if you work in the DOD or you work in some department and you're making contracts with fucking Elon Musk's company, this guy that's fucking jerking off in the White House all day. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Final comments from both of you. Go. And then I got a quick video on the
Yeah. Final comment from me is I hear it's a bloodbath in the DOJ and they're all trying to leave a lot of lawyers. So
sure.
It's going to be bad, dude. It's going to be bad in the DOJ and shit's going to get fucked. But much love, guys.
Wait, Stephen, are you doing a debate?
I pre-recorded a debate that I was going to show my audience, and then I'm going to...
Nice. Yeah. All right. See you later, buddy. Bye.
All right. Have fun. Peace out.